my name is Nikki. I have a law school blog on brazenandbrunette.com, but I wanted to make a YouTube channel just to make some videos kind of vlogging my way through this process, and I didn't want to mix that in with the law school stuff since it is bar prep time. But I did recently find out that I had skin cancer, so I'm going to just kind of be making weekly videos. Hopefully they're not mini videos because I'm hoping that this gets taken care of pretty quickly. A little backstory, I started tanning about when I turned 13. My cousin actually had a tanning bed basically in like their garage, and so we would pay them kind of for the electricity every month, and then I had unlimited access to tanning. So I would go about once a day for a long time. And then when I was 18, my family, we went on a cruise, and it was right before my senior year, so I really wanted to be tan when I went back for my senior year. So I laid out on the deck and I kept spraying tanning oil on myself for about 5 hours, and I ended up getting a very, very bad sunburn. My whole face and my shoulders just bubbled, like completely just all fell off. It looked very disgusting and not right. So when we got back, my mom took me to my dermatologist, and he looked and he said it was a 2nd degree sunburn, and he told me basically like that plus your history of, at that point I'd been tanning for 5 years, he was like, you're gonna get skin cancer. Like, it's not an if, it's a when. You pretty much have sealed your fate. So I've always kind of like since then known like this was a possibility. I still did tan for a while in college, not a whole bunch because I couldn't afford it anymore, and then just finding time to go do it, I would forget a lot. So I stopped tanning, and then my senior year of college, when I was 22, my birthday present to myself was getting laser hair removal, and for that you have to have no tan at all. So for about 2 years while I was doing that, on my lower legs I wasn't tanning at all, so then that's when I started getting about as pale as I am now. And then when I was my first year of law school, actually, I noticed this like mole on my stomach, and it was kind of irregular. The border was irregular, the color in about a C shape. It was brown, but in a C shape was black, and I was like, okay, this is it. This is my skin cancer. I knew this time was coming. So I went to a dermatologist, had a full skin check. He removed it. They did tests on it, and it came back. It was, I think, fine. I don't know what the results were exactly. I'm working to get them because obviously now that's really important. Then I noticed that the mole, it did grow back just a little bit, just the color. It's came back, so I was always kind of worried a little bit about that, but then I looked it up and it said it was fine, so I was okay with that. And then not long after that, I noticed this red bump on my upper right thigh, and it kind of looked like either like a pimple or an ingrown hair. And so, I tried to get rid of it, and it wasn't going. Then that hurt, so I just left it, and then it just kept growing and growing. It was like a pinkish or bright red kind of color, and it got so big that if I wore leggings, you could see the little bump out of it. So I knew, I was like, I need to get this checked, especially because it just showed up. And I read somewhere online, I don't know if this is true, that if you get a mole in your 20s, like that shouldn't happen. They should all kind of be from when you were younger. You should have always had them. So I knew like, oh, this isn't good, and I just kept meaning to get it looked at, but then law school and the bar, and then like I didn't have insurance for a while. Then I got my job that I currently have. Sorry, my arm is killing me. I'm doing this in a hotel room. And so then finally this summer I just decided to go for it, and I'd actually purposely missed my appointment. I didn't want to take off work, and so the dermatologist's office called me, and they said basically like, hey, we noticed you missed your appointment. Did you mean to reschedule it? And I was like, yeah, that's what I meant. So we rescheduled it, and then they had one real early. I just took off an hour of work and showed the doctor, told her everything I've told you all about like my skin history, and she removed it. And she said, just to be safe, she was going to remove it, and she wasn't quite sure about it. And then that was it. The weird thing about, and she did look at my other mole, the one that had been removed, and she told me as long as that, the mole that came back, as long as it stays within the scar, that's fine, because a lot of times moles attach to hair follicles, so the color goes down real deep, so it will come back, and she said that's totally fine. What was weird about this mole removal compared to my other one is this one bled a lot. Like, I was driving home and I had already bled through the Band-Aid, bled through my dress, and so I had like a stain on my dress. I got to work. Luckily we had Band-Aids. I changed the Band-Aid. I bled through it again. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I just thought that was weird. And then, so that was on a Thursday, July 11th, and then on the Tuesday, July 14th, if I'm doing my math right, sometime this Tuesday, she called me, and I was actually talking with one of my coworkers, so I ignored the call because it came up on my Apple Watch, I just pushed it away, and then I went back and called them, and they were like, oh, hold on, the doctor wants to talk to you. And I was like, fuck, this is it. Like, I've known for a while, like it's gonna happen. And so then I was like 80% sure at that point, or probably more like 90. And then the doctor finally got on the line, and she was like, I'm so happy that you came in. And I was like, yep, this is it. So I wasn't surprised at all. It was kind of, I guess, like when your friend's shitty boyfriend cheats on him or cheats on her, you're like, yep, we saw this coming. So I was really prepared for it. I'd done a lot of research the last time I thought I had skin cancer, so I knew a whole bunch about it. And then she said, you have melanoma, which caught my eye, or I guess ear, because through my research, I knew melanoma was the bad one. And I said that. I was like, oh, that's the bad one, right? And she's like, yeah. So she referred me over to MD Anderson. I live in Houston, which luckily MD Anderson is like one of the best cancer hospitals in the United States, I guess. For sure, like they're really, really well renowned. So like that's convenient for me. I don't have to travel or anything. She was like, I'm going to refer you over there. They're going to have to cut out more. And she said, I'm also going to suggest to them that they do a lymph node biopsy just to make sure it hasn't spread. She did say she cut out 0.7 millimeters of the mole, and she said the melanoma is at least that deep. She doesn't know how deep because she didn't gut the whole thing, so that's what I have to go in and do. So then yesterday, I'm in Dallas right now. I had a hearing yesterday. I have a mediation here in a few hours, and so yesterday MD Anderson called, and I have an appointment for next month because apparently, August or the summertime is really busy for a lot of doctors because kids and parents, teachers, like they don't have school, and so everyone's getting this done now. So it is a little backed up. I was supposed to, after I had my mole removed, my doctor was like, you need to come in for a full body check anyway since it's been 3 years. So I'd already had that scheduled, and then she was like, yeah, now we really need to move it up. So then now I have an appointment with her to go back and get a full body scan. Actually, when I told Ryan about it, my boyfriend, he pointed out that I do have on my hip a very, very dark mole. I mean, it's pure black. So I'm going to have her look at that just to make sure. As far as we know, I only have that one. Right now, it's just kind of like the scary part is we don't know how bad it is. We won't know until like they run all those tests and everything. I've been doing some research. It's basically... The hard part is when you look up melanoma, if you Google it ever, it never just says melanoma. It always says melanoma, comma, the deadliest form of skin cancer, which kind of sucks. Like, I wish they wouldn't say it like that. Because to me, skin cancer almost feels kind of like, not a joke, but like definitely like the lesser of the cancers, because, you can catch it easier because you can see the changes, colon cancer, it's hard for you to see. It's something you have to wait till like the symptoms are really bad and then you feel. But skin cancer, you can pretty much just see it and go find out pretty soon. And as you know, like early detection, it helps with survival rates and everything. It's just kind of right now, I don't know how bad it is, but like stages 1 and 2, from what I've read, they're like pretty okay. You just like cut out the mole like real bad, like real deep, and then you come back every few months, and then that's it. You just keep checking and monitoring. I have a higher rate of getting it again, but I mean, it's manageable, especially because if you're going in every year, then you've never had a new mole, for longer than a year. But as far as from what I've read, like if you have stages 3 or 4, then that's when it's like, that's just like, there's no coming back from it pretty much, which sucks. I'm pretty hopeful. Like I have a good feeling that it's like stage 1 or 2 at the worst, but probably 1. So I guess I'll find out at the end of next month. But I just decided to make this little video kind of vlogging my way through. I'll make another video after, I guess, my next appointment with my dermatologist to see what she says about that one mole, if I have it removed and tested too, and then I'll make another video. So first I have to like make just a general appointment to meet with an oncologist, and she's like an oncologist and a surgeon, I believe. And so just like a general appointment with her. They want to run more tests, and then I'll have to do a follow-up of having it removed, and then if she thinks I need a biopsy, we'll see about that. I think that's what I'm the most scared about, is if she thinks it's bad enough to do the sentinel lymph node biopsy, which if you don't want to spend the time Googling it, basically it's whatever lymph node is closest to the mole or the melanoma, they will take it out and test it, and as long as there's no melanoma in that lymph node, you're good. If there's melanoma in that lymph node, that's when things kind of like start going downhill. So that's the only thing I'm really worried about, is I just want to make sure my lymph nodes are doing okay. I guess that's all about it. I just wanted to make this kind of like introduction video, explain kind of like the backstory. And yeah, so I have melanoma. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, obviously you should be, but I'm not like freaking out. I don't know, I couldn't find a lot of resources about, like how to tell my friends. Like it was awkward telling my friends, and, just like casually like, hey, I have melanoma, because just anytime anyone hears the word skin cancer, cancer in general, they like freak out. But I'm not like freaked out yet. I don't feel the need to until I hear otherwise, until my doctors tell me like it's serious enough you need to freak out. I'm not gonna freak out, because why waste that time if it ends up being fine, and this is just something I manage. Like I said, I've always known I was gonna get it. It just sucks that I'm getting it now, because it just, once you get it, you have to go to a lot of doctor's appointments, and so it's just kind of like the process just started earlier than I wanted it to, but it is what it is. So I'll just keep y'all updated, and if anyone has any questions, I guess you could leave them, and maybe I'll do like an answer, but I really don't have much answers. It's just kind of like me regurgitating things that I've learned so far, but we'll find out along the way. So yeah, just go ahead, if you haven't this year, get a mole check. It's better to do it and be perfectly fine. Last time I did it, it was like 30 minutes, maybe an hour. Why not? Tell all your friends too. And if you think you see a suspicious mole on a friend or family member, let them know, because you never know. Like I said, it's better to check and find out, or else you'll end up like this and you're just like making a video about melanoma. But I guess that'll be it. I'll wrap this up. It feels like it's long. My arm's getting tired, so I'll catch up with y'all guys next time. Bye.